welcome back to the vlog. I am super excited for today. It is actually the spring equinox tomorrow officially, and I'm pretty sure daylight savings is happening next weekend, maybe. I never can remember which weekend it is, and spring always feels like it should be starting on the 1st of September, but I know it starts with the equinox. But I'm getting in the spring spirit today. I feel ready for it. This week we have had the hottest weather. It has felt like summer. Pretty much every day this week we have had the most beautiful sunshine and like 20-degree days, and it has been hot. It's always a bit of a shock when you come out of winter and you suddenly hit that warm period, and I'm just like sweating in my office, and suddenly I'm like, what do I even wear? So yeah, I'm ready to get in the spring spirit today. And so I want to do a bunch of little fun things just to make our home feel a little bit more refreshed and ready for spring, and just celebrate some of the lighter, breezier, brighter things in life. And so my plan for today is, first of all, to head off to the library because I want to just take a little browse around, see if I can find some new books. I have been in an absolute reading slump recently. The last book that I read was a thriller, and that I think has started to pull me out of the reading slump because it was so fast-paced and had such short chapters, and a thriller is so good because it captures you right from the start, and it's so easy to fly through. And so I feel like that has helped lift me out of the reading slump. But I'd like to try and find some other reads, and I've been reading a lot on my Kindle recently, but there's just nothing like a physical book. Being able to flip through the pages and see the pretty covers, I just love that. So the library is where it's at. And I also think I just love the hunt. Same as thrifting. I think it's just fun to actually see what's available and get really excited when you find a book that you've been looking for ages versus, you know, if you just go and buy a book, something about that is just a little bit less exciting to me than when it's been on my list for ages and I just happen to stumble across it, and it just makes me so excited to read it. So I'm hoping that this will help me get out of my reading slump. I also want to start making some kombucha again. This is something I like to do over the spring and summer months. It's nice to have some sort of drink, but I don't always want to have fizzy drinks or alcoholic drinks, and so it's fun to have something else, some sort of fun drink to enjoy that isn't as like high in sugar, and I can just make it myself, and it's obviously cheaper to do that as well, and you can control the flavors. And I have been on a real lemon and ginger kick at the moment, and so I want to make a lemon ginger kombucha. My kombucha SCOBY, the little live organism bit, has been sitting in my pantry for several months now, just doing its thing, ticking away, and I'm hoping that it's still going to be okay. I don't know how that's going to go and if it's going to work, but I hope that I can revive it and start making some kombucha again for summer. I also want to make some foccacia bread. I've never made foccacia bread before. I've made other kind of like flatbreads and tortillas, and I love homemade pretzel bread. That's always a good time. But I've never made a focaccia, and I think it's really easy, so that's good. But what I'm excited to do is try and make a garden-inspired focaccia. I know this was like trending like a year, 2 years ago, like during the pandemic times when everyone got on that crazy bread making craze, but I never did it, and it feels like the perfect way to celebrate spring. And I want to pick up some flowers. I took a flower arranging class with my mum probably a good month or so ago, and it was so much fun, and we took away these beautiful floral arrangements, and so I've had them kind of scattered around our house, and it's just been so beautiful, like brightening up our space with flowers. And unfortunately they have now died, and they've just been sitting there all week looking very sad in their vases. So it's time for me to pop some fresh flowers into these vases and just bring some of the spring spirit inside as well. So that's the plan for today, and I'm looking forward to taking you along with me.
could sit around and wait all day. You lay easy on my mind, like a candle I just burn away. All we really have is time. All we really have is time. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you.
I'm back from the supermarket, so let's do a little grocery haul, book haul. I'll show you all the things that I picked up in town. Okay, here's the grocery haul. It is, as you can see, a very small haul. We've got some tea for the kombucha. I got this ginger and lemon flavor to try out. Hopefully the green tea isn't too strong. Eye drops because hello spring and spring allergies. If you know, you know. This is for the garden foccacia that we're going to make. Moisturizer because the winter dry skin is still lingering. And then I bought some pretty tulips. I'm so happy to have these. I don't usually buy myself flowers. I think I just feel bad about buying something that's going to die pretty soon after having it. I just think it's so nice to actually have flowers in your home, and even though they don't last forever, they still bring you so much joy when they, you know, when you do have them. And I think it's worth it, and I want to start incorporating more of these things that bring me joy and not feel guilty for having them and for enjoying these things. So step one, buy myself flowers because Miley Cyrus says that we can do that, and Miley's the best. So here they are, my beautiful tulips. I am very excited about them. Actually, as I was driving into town, I noticed that there's some tulips coming out in town, and so next week I'm gonna have to do a little tour and take you around and show you the tulips, because where I live, every spring the council plants tulips around the city, and they're generally only out for a couple of weeks, and then we get some sort of horrible crazy storm that comes through and just shreds the tulips. But when they are in bloom, they are the most beautiful thing ever. They do such a good job of matching the colors of the tulips with the flowers that they put underneath them, and they have all these different colors, and it's the most stunning thing ever, and it just fills my heart up, and I can't wait to share that. But in the meantime, I got my own little tulips to celebrate spring. Also, while I'm here, I wanted to share the books that I picked up. I picked up 3 books, and they are all very different styles. So this will be interesting. So the first one is Sex and Vanity by Kwan. You might know him as the author of Crazy Rich Asians, which is an incredible book, so good. I just loved that one. And so I think this one will be really good as well. This one is about, it says, a glittering tale of a young woman who finds herself torn between 2 men. On her very first morning on the jewel-like island of Capri, Lucy Churchill sets eyes on George Zhao, and she instantly can't stand him. She can't stand it when he gallantly offers to trade hotel rooms with her. She can't stand it when he kisses her in the darkness of the ancient ruins of a Roman villa. The daughter of an American-born Chinese mother and a blue-blooded New York father, Lucy has always sublimated the Asian side of herself, and she adamantly denies having feelings for George. But several years later, this is a very long intro, but the gist of it is, it seems like one of those like enemies to lovers kind of tropes. So I think it's going to be like a fun, frothy, cheeky, easy kind of read. So very much looking forward to this one, and I'll let you know how that goes. The next one is a completely different tone. It's called Good Husbands by Kate Ray. Here it is. I always look out for these recommended reads because it's the librarians who curate those. And what I like about it is that they are not necessarily books that you'll find on the top lists or like what all the booktubers and book talk are talking about, but they are often really good books. And so I love picking those up, and that's one of the reasons why I love going to the library actually, is that you get this kind of different selection of books that you don't necessarily see when you're looking online for good books to read. So this one is a lot darker. It's about 3 women and 1 letter and an explosive secret that will change everything. So this one's more of like a thriller style book. So it's these 3 women and they're living these kind of normal suburban lives, happy and everything's all good. And then they each get a letter, and in the letter it discusses that their husbands are accused of a sexual assault that happened 20 years ago. And it's kind of the story of, who do they believe? Do they believe the victims or their husbands? And I think this is going to be really interesting. I love these kind of like thought-provoking, like challenging, gritty, especially if there's a thriller element to it. I think it's going to be really good. So I'm excited about that. And then on a completely different note again, one that's very sweet, and this one called Saying Goodbye to Tuesday by... who's that? Chrissie Manby. Again, a librarian recommendation, so I'm sure it's going to be great. This one it had a dog on the cover, so that's really what drew me in. I know you're not supposed to judge books by covers, but does anyone ever not judge a book by its cover? Because I'm absolutely going to judge a book by its cover. That's just going to happen. So this one says the quote is, "A joy to read, although have tissues handy." So this already, I'm sure I'm going to be very emotional. So it's about this dog that basically this dog dies and is a ghost, and can't kind of, it's trying to grapple with why its owner doesn't see it and doesn't understand. It can't understand like what's going on there, and for some reason it's left behind on Earth and it's got this unfinished business, and so the dog's trying to get to the bottom of like why it's still there and why its owner is really sad as well, and it just seems really sweet. I mean, books from dogs' perspectives, is there anything cuter in this world than imagining what your dog's thinking? Because personally I do that all the time, and we speak on his behalf and we chat about what he's probably thinking and saying about us and feeling. So I think if you're a dog lover, this one is going to be a tearjerker. I'm very excited, and I will let you know how it goes. Now I'm going to put away these groceries, hide those books, because my dog loves to eat library books. Fun fact about Bruno, he has eaten at least 2 of my library books now, and he's chewed my journal, completely destroyed my journal. So he's got this little addiction to chewing up books, and I'm not here for that. So I have to hide my books from him. So I'm going to put all this stuff away, get these flowers and water, and then start working on the foccacia bread.
Gonna stay in this moment, gonna lay here on the grass. I don't need to feel lonely, I am finally home at last. could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know.
I just picked some veggies from the garden to go on top of the focaccia bread, and I was just thinking I should take you outside and show you a garden update because there's been so much progress and I'm very excited about it. So let's go outside and have a look at the garden. So our silver beet are doing so well. I am so happy with them. There's some random little sprouts coming up here that I don't know what they are. So I think I'm gonna pull those out. We've got our spinach, which is doing pretty well. I've just picked a bunch of it. And then the peas at the back, which are not doing well because the birds kept digging them up and I've had to replant them so many times, and yeah, they're just not really thriving. But over here we have more peas, and these ones are doing a lot better. For some reason the birds didn't like this garden as much. And then we have some more spinach, which I've also picked some of. And then at the front we have the basil, which is struggling along. I just don't know, maybe it's not warm enough yet, or I'm not sure what the story is with the basil, but it's not doing too well at the moment.
Don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick.
Okay, here's how my garden focaccia loaf is looking. No licking. So far. I think it's so cute. I actually love it so much, but I wish that I had bought some more different colors of vegetables, and I think making it again in summer when there's just more things available will be really fun. I just had to pick some random things from the garden and make do with what we could, but I still think it's cute. It'll be interesting to see how it actually turns out when it's baked though, because of course everything will shrink down and lose its color a little bit. So we'll see. What's fun about this is that every creation is so different and unique and adorable. So I love this idea, and it's got to rest for 30 minutes and then I'll bake it.
I want slow love, uncomplicated touch, stable as we go, consistent as we grow. I want slow love, no need to rush. I'll say it in my dreams, strange as it may seem. I reminisce the codependence.
I've just pulled the focaccia loaf out of the oven and this is what it's looking like. I think it's so cute. The tomatoes kind of got quite brown on top, but it actually held its shape so well and I think it's really adorable. It smells absolutely delicious. I cannot wait to eat this later. The moment of truth. Is the foccacia worth it? Let's give it a wee taste test. Not bad. I think what would make it better is a bit more seasoning across the top of it. So I think next time I make this, putting like some more chopped up rosemary and garlic alongside the floral design, I think will be, just take it to the next level, because then it will be all garlicky and rosemary. But it's good, and it was actually really easy to make as well. So I feel like this is a winner, and it looks pretty impressive and fancy. So kind of like a fun thing to make for dinner parties or take along somewhere if we go out for dinner at someone's place. So I love this.
That we play lost our minds, so maybe you could stay, 'cause you got me thinking that possibly I've changed. I need slow love, yeah, the real one. I've seen it in my dreams, strange as you may seem.
So I've just pulled out the kombucha that's been sitting in the pantry for several months now. This is just the SCOBY, and it's in the tiniest little bit of leftover kombucha. And then I also saved some kombucha to use with this new batch, because you always have to have a little bit of kombucha kind of like starter to put in to get the fermentation process going. So what I'm going to do is simply just add in the tea and sugar mixture and water mixture into here, as well as some of the kombucha starter, and then put it away in the cupboard, and it's got this cover over the top, and then it will just ferment away for about a week or so. I need to check again with the timings of everything to see, because I'm kind of keen to try out this time adding a little bit of fruit. So you do the first ferment, and then you add fruit, and then you do a second ferment. We'll see how it goes. It very much depends on how warm it is, yeah, like the time of year, whereabouts you live, because it's a science, and different stuff can impact how quickly the kombucha brews. I think especially the heat really plays a huge role in it, because I found that in every different place that I've lived, it turns out a little bit differently. So you've kind of got to play around and find the exact timing of when you want to have it, because you want to catch it in time that it's actually fermented, so it's not basically just sugar, it's not even kombucha yet, which is actually how Dom likes it. And I like to joke and tell him that he doesn't actually like kombucha at all, he just likes fruit juice, or what would that be, iced tea. So I like to leave it a little bit longer than that, but then you don't want to go too far, because then it basically tastes like vinegar, and it's absolutely disgusting and undrinkable. So it's a balancing act. Now I'm going to add the tea and stuff into here, and then pop it away. I think I might remove some of this SCOBY and just get rid of it, because it's very thick at the moment, and I find that if the SCOBY is too thick, then it turns out like vinegar as well. So that's something to be aware of. In case you're curious, this is a little bit gross if you're kind of squeamish, but this is what the SCOBY actually looks like. It looks like a horrendous science experiment gone wrong, but I promise that it tastes good. finished wrapping up making the kombucha and the foccacia bread, and it's just been such a lovely day today. It's just all my favorite things in the world. Going to the library and picking up books, getting pretty flowers, cooking, making kombucha to drink, which I can't wait to have. I saw this meme that made me laugh and I just thought of it, and it said, when you're trying to fight the patriarchy but all of your hobbies are what an 1800s like housewife would have had, and that feels like me to my core. I absolutely love all of the kinds of hobbies that, you know, a housewife would have loved. All of the embroidery, picking pretty flowers, baking, and you know, making the house beautiful. That is 100% my cup of tea, but that's okay. Thank you so much for joining me. It was such a fun day, and I hope that it inspired you to make the most of spring and celebrate the season in tiny little ways, in whatever way you want to, but just to appreciate the season that we're in and take a moment to create some sort of joy in your life and celebrate however you can, even if it's picking up some pretty little tulips for your house, or baking a funny little cute loaf of bread with flowers on it, or growing a garden. Whatever it is, there's small things we can do to celebrate and just squeeze extra joy out of life. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will catch you in another vlog very soon. Bye!